Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Austin. This is Gone in 60. This is my 2023 Toyota GR86, and if you guys have been following my channel, you guys know that I sold this car, and I still have a couple things that I want to talk about. I have some questions that I want to ask some of you that have still owned it, because honestly, it is a car that I regret selling. So I want to jump into a few reasons of do I miss it and why, and maybe this might help some of you that are looking to buy one, maybe if you're on the border of selling it with just today's economy and different things. And so I hope this video might help you in some way. So I have a few things that I want to go over, and then I have some questions for you, those that have owned the newer gen GR86 and BRZ. So honestly, I miss this car. I really do. This car, in my opinion, looks so good, and it is going to age so well, and it's always going to be viewed as just an amazing bundled sports car that's a dying breed. You know, I bought this car for under $30,000 MSRP. It wasn't, the premium trim, it was more the base model, but still, it was the form that I was buying. Rear-wheel drive, manual transmission, lightweight, and the looks of this car, I think we're going to look back in 10 to 20 years and still think this car just looks really, really good. A lot of people refer to it as the poor man's Porsche, and honestly, it's going to age well. It really is. It looks so good. And, I sold this car because at the time I had, and I still have the Honda S2000 and I had the GR86. And those two cars are quite similar. They're high revving, just rear wheel drive, lightweight, tossable. Now, obviously the technology in the GR86 newer and, probably drives a little bit better in some of that, but they're both just raw mechanical cars. And I personally like the S2000 a little bit more, but here's the challenge. The S2000, I don't want to put a lot of miles on it. I bought it with 13,000 miles on it. I'm like 14.5 on it, and I can't drive it all year long. The GR86 you can if you want, and having a convertible is a lot of fun. Driving it with the top up, though, not as fun as an experience. It sounds really loud kind of driving down the road. So the GR86 and the S2000 at the time, I sold it just because I needed a little bit more space. They're both really, really small cars. And so I definitely do regret selling the GR86. And there's a few reasons why. The car is hard to beat for the price, for the performance, for the features, for just what you get with that car and the package. It's really hard to find something as good as that. I really don't know what's out there. You can look in the Miatas, but you don't have a rear seat. You lack a little bit of space. It's not completely, it's a convertible essentially. And so the GR86 formula is a great formula. And I know Toyota's been tossing around some concepts of kind of, just a two-seater kind of sports car, but it's really just such a great formula. And for the price, and I've looked at prices recently, and just like any other car, the prices continue to go up. It's kind of sad, but the price, you're just going to have a hard time finding a better sports car for the money. Is lightweight. I could toss it around. I could chirp the gears in just about the first 3 gears. I think I could chirp them in surprisingly. So the car was just light. You could toss it around. It was quick enough, to be honest. No, you're not going to win a lot of drag races with it, but it's quick enough to have a lot of fun with it. I did experience with the car, depending on the temperature outside, depending on, conditions that day, how warm the car is, it wasn't always 100% consistent on the power that it gave me. And you could say that for all cars, but there's times the car kind of would feel like a ripper, and sometimes the car felt like really sluggish. I guess you could say that of any 4-cylinder, car, but I did notice it was much more susceptible to those things. But regardless, I want it back. I miss it. Some things I wish I would have done to the car. I wish I would have done some wheels and tires on it. I think these cars lowered with some wheels and tires look so good. I wish I would have made the car a little bit more for me. The stock stereo on these cars leave a lot to be desired. I wish I would have thrown a system in it. The trunk isn't really usable anyways, so might as well throw a subwoofer back in there, maybe a new head unit. I never really kind of liked the head unit. I thought they kind of looked a little bit archaic in these, but I wish I would have kind of made it more mine, more personalized. This car, my GR86, it was the first car I've ever bought from the factory, a new car that didn't have a dent, a scratch or some type of defect in it. And I had paint protection film on the front, and it looked really good, and I had it ceramic coated. And yeah, I mean, it was a good setup, and I really liked it. So I wish I would have made it more mine. Here's a couple questions that I have, and this is for those that have owned the new generations, whether it's a BRZ or GR86. I have a couple questions because I might buy one again. I miss it. I like it. I think it's a dying formula. I don't know what the partnership for Subaru and Toyota look like after this. There's a lot of rumors they're going to kind of go their own separate ways. So we'll see. We'll see how much longer we have with it. But I have a couple questions for you. First is, if you have one of these new gens, have you tuned it? And if you have, what did that look like, and what is the power like? I haven't been staying up to date too much on the tunes out there and the modifications that you can do, but those of you that have tuned it or maybe changed gear ratios, whatever maybe modifications that you've done to it to give it more power, I'm curious to know, what does that power look like? What did it do to help the car? How does it drive? Have you had any performance issues with it, or any issues just in general? So that's question number one. Question number two that I'm really curious about is, what mileage are some of you at? I'm curious to know how this car does with 70, 80, 90, 100 plus thousand miles on it. We might be too early to have some of those examples, but I'm really curious, is this a car and the engine, is it going to last well over 100,000 miles? I'm just curious, just because, I don't know. This is a very high revving motor, naturally aspirated. I'm curious how this car does. It seems like a lot of the oil starvation issues and some of the RTV issues have kind of quieted down. I haven't heard a whole lot about that. It was really heavy when it came out. But if you have a new generation, let me know what miles you're at. If you have friends or people that you know with higher miles, I just like to know kind of what that longevity looks like. But yeah, I absolutely do miss my Toyota GR86. I would like to maybe get back into that, or a BRZ. I kind of like the power band of the BRZ better. I know some of you are going to disagree, but the BRZ had a more linear power band. The GR86, they made it much more punchy kind of off the start. So I definitely would like to get back into one. I miss it. I think it's a car that we're going to look back on and go, man, that car was a great deal, a great bundle package for what you get. And as a manual enthusiast, I applaud him. I really do. It was a great formula. So yes, I do miss it. And hopefully this video helps you guys. If you like some of this content, if you'd like more GR86 content, BRZ comment, leave a comment below, or like this video. I definitely have more topics and thoughts and a lot more videos that you guys haven't seen about the platform. So let me know. I'd love to share that with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my channel, please give it a like. Please give it a subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one.